Ahlan wa sahlan, it's Habib here. Bird, that's a word. Angry bird, that's a phrase. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Okay, so today we're going to be studying noun phrases in Arabic. It's nice to study the noun phrase in contrast to the sentence. So we can start in English in our comfort zone so we can have a look and really get to grips with this idea. I often ask students what's the difference between a phrase and a sentence. It's not, immediately obvious that there is a difference, but let's have a look. So the sentence here, the example we've given is the man is generous. And I could put a full stop there at the end of this sentence and it would make perfect grammatical sense. I've raised a topic, the man, and I've given some news about that topic. I've said the man is generous. In contrast to this, if we look at the noun phrase, we can say the generous man. Now, if I put a full stop there, my English teacher would not be happy with me at all, because that's really not grammatically correct in English. You don't want to have a full stop there because the generous man is only an idea. It's not a complete, finished off idea that is got a topic and some news about it. If I was speaking to someone, for example, and I just said the generous man, they'd be waiting for me to add something else onto the end, like the generous man is here, for example. Now I can put a full stop and now it's a correct sentence. So that said, a noun phrase can be a component of a sentence. You can add a noun phrase into a sentence. So again, here's our noun phrase here. And if we wanted to add it into the sentence, it's nice to use them because it makes our sentences nice and detailed. We'd say, the generous man is in the kitchen. And again, I can put the full stop there because I've got is in the kitchen, which finishes off the idea. It sounds really basic at this point, but these fundamentals are really important. Let's start talking about adjectives. This kind of builds on previous videos we've made. What is an adjective? Adjectives are generally describing words. In English, we place our adjectives before nouns. So, I say the big mosque here, if you look at this example. All right. So you first describe it as big and then you tell people what it is. I find that quite weird because what's the point in knowing what it's like if you don't even know what it is, in the order of things. But, it all comes out. We speak quite fast, so that's fine. But in Arabic, it makes more sense to me because first you establish what it is. You say, al-masjidu, there, the mosque. And then you provide the information about the mosque saying, al-kabiru, the big mosque. Or the mosque, the big, if you want to translate that quite literally. Quite a few languages actually choose to do it this way. Spanish, you generally put the noun first and the adjective afterwards. And so Arabic isn't really that exceptional in that sense. Now, we can start to talk about some grammar here, some really important Arabic grammar. Al-masjidul kabiru. Okay, so what is going on here? Everything is established in Arabic by the first noun, al-masjidu. So we can see that this is a masculine noun. There's no ta' marbuta there, and it's not really, a mosque isn't anything that you, like a sister or a daughter. It's not inherently a feminine idea, really. And, so we can make a decision there. It's a masculine noun. And then we can have a look at, so we've looked at that, the gender, we've sorted that out. We look at its definite and indefinite status. We can see it's got al at the beginning and it has only one dhamma at the end. There's no tanween. So we can say, okay, well, that's safely a definite word. We're saying the mosque, not a mosque, the mosque. Okay, the next thing we can look at is case. And this gets a little bit more advanced, but we can say this is in the nominative case, or you might call it in Arabic the marfu' case. So you could use the word marfu', or if you want to use the terminology in English, is the nominative case. Okay, so great. We've established everything about this word in these 3 different points, which should always be an undercurrent which you're thinking about when you're looking at Arabic. Now it gets really easy, because when we're adding that adjective on the end, in this case al-kabiru, we just copy it. So it has to be masculine, it has to be definite. Notice that's why I've put the al there and kept only one dhamma at the end. And it also has to be nominative. That's why, the nominative case in both of these words is shown by the dhamma at the end. That's the sign to show that both of these words are nominative. So if you want to take 2 things away from this slide, the first one is that you put the adjectives after the nouns, and the second one is that the adjective copies the noun in its gender, its definite, indefinite status, and its case. So we can have a look at some examples if you wanted to do some basic translation of noun phrases. Let's have a look at this one. Kitabun kabirun. In this case, we're going to say, oh, okay, that's a, because we can see it's got tanween there, no al, so it's indefinite. A big book. Again, notice everything's masculine there, so everything agrees. This is an indefinite noun phrase. Let's have a look at the second example here. Sayyaratun saghiratun. Okay, so again, it's indefinite again, but this is, now we're looking at the adjective, and we got to swap it round the order, as I said, because in English it goes the opposite way. We say a small car. In this example, both words are feminine. So you can see sayyaratun is feminine. We can see that clearly by the fact that there's a ta' marbuta at the end. And then the adjective here must also have a ta' marbuta. I can't say sayyaratun saghirun. I must make it match by adding a ta' marbuta to the end of the adjective as well. A small car. Okay, so let's look at some definite examples now. You've got the sun letter at the beginning here, the ta. At-talibatul jadidatu. Alright, so in this example, at-talibatu is feminine, it's definite, and of course I haven't mentioned this much, but it's in the nominative or marfu' case, so that means that everything must be copied in the adjective, and we're going to say the new student, and this student is feminine. Okay, moving to the last example, we say al-waladul faqiru. Okay, so in this example we've got a masculine definite marfu'. We say the poor boy, and you can see it's masculine. There's no ta' marbuta at the end of this adjective because we're describing al-waladu, and al-waladu is masculine. Alright, excellent. So moving now to a sort of breakdown of the ingredients of a noun phrase. We can see there's the purple word here, sayyaratun. That's what we can call the described noun. There's actually a word in Arabic for this if we're looking at the Arabic terminology, which is an ismun mawsoof. And that's literally saying exactly the same thing in Arabic, a described noun. And now we have here the blue word qadimatun, which is the adjective in English, or in Arabic we call it the sifah. And you can see sifah, it actually comes from wasafa, the verb to describe. So sayyaratun qadimatun, an old car. And that's terminology we can use, either described noun or adjective, or ism mawsoof and sifa. And you can even say mawsoof sifa to describe this grammatical phenomenon which we call the noun phrase. Alright, so let's take this to the next level. We've established the basics. Let's take this to the next level. So just like in English, nouns may be described by multiple adjectives. You know, sometimes it's not enough to say a large door. You want to say a new large door. And you can kind of stack as many adjectives as you like. And in English, as I say, the adjectives go before the noun. So we're going to stack all the adjectives before. And in this example, you can see in Arabic, Al-babul kabirul jadidu. Now just have a think about that. What's going on that makes it different? Well, the adjectives are coming after the noun. First we say what it is, al-babu, and then we put the adjectives afterwards. And there's no surprises here. Everything agrees. This idea of agreement is a term I like to talk about a lot. There's agreement and there's disagreement. Agreement basically means that the adjectives are copying everything about this noun here in those 3 bullet points that we mentioned earlier. That was gender, definite, indefinite status, and also case. And we're just putting them all there. They all agree. So they all kind of merge into one big phrase there. A smart, beautiful girl. Again, this is interesting. You know, we tend to put these commas in English when we're listing. We don't need these in Arabic. You can say this is an indefinite noun phrase, bintun. Okay, so that's a girl. There's no ta marbuta there, but because we're talking about a girl, that's what we call feminine by meaning. And we can add in some adjectives here, dhakiyatun. Okay, nice. And jamilatun. There we go. We've got those 2 sifas, or adjectives there, to describe the girl. And the adjectives are coming afterwards. So it's not really anything new there. It's just that you can do this in Arabic. Now, right at the beginning, we compared a nominal sentence to a noun phrase. We're looking at the difference between a sentence and a phrase, and we said that, you know, you can't really put a full stop at the end of a noun phrase, because if you were to do that, you haven't really said a complete idea. But a noun phrase can be a part of a longer sentence. Here in this example, we've got al-mudarrisu abun karimun. Okay, so that this blue line here shows us that there's a noun phrase, or a mawsuf sifa if you like to use the Arabic, and it's an indefinite noun phrase. It's actually the khabar, or the predicate of this sentence. So the first part, the subject of the sentence, is al-mudarrisu. And the predicate, the news, the part that comes afterwards, is abun karimun. So you're not just saying the teacher is a father. You're saying the teacher is a generous father. Okay, so the second example we've got here, actually the noun phrase isn't the khabar or the predicate. The noun phrase is the subject. And it's as-sayyaratul jadidatu jamilatun. Okay, so the new car here is beautiful. The new car is beautiful. Again, this is a definite noun phrase there, which establishes the subject. So finally, we can have a look at some examples of noun phrases in the Noble Quran. So, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. We have الفوز العظيم, and الفوز العظيم, you can see all of the rules which we've studied so far in this lesson are evident. You have al-fawzu, which is the noun, the ism mawsuf, the described noun, and then you have the describer, or the adjective, al-azimu. And al-azimu matches, agrees, copies al-fawzu in all 3 ways that we discussed. It's masculine, it's in the nominative case, and it's definite. Okay, and then look at the final example here, which is Qur'anun Karimun, a noble recitation. And we can see that both of the words here are indefinite, both are masculine, and both are nominative or marfu' in case. Qur'anun Karimun. Excellent. So I think that's enough for today. So the main things to take away from this lesson are that noun phrases are distinct from sentences, and that when you look at a noun phrase, you'll notice that the adjective comes after the noun and agrees with the noun in 3 different ways. Shukran jazilan, guys. It's great to give another lesson. If you've got any questions you'd like to ask, just drop them in the comments, and see you next time.